It's got to be it, right?
Sure.
I think so.
Make sure. 31 seconds.
Then yes.
We're sure. Okay. That is us.
Good evening, everyone. This is Sapa Speaks, the voice of the Southern Alberta Pagan Association, and I am your host, one of your hosts tonight, Beth, and across from me is the wonderful Liv,
Hi.
co-hosting, and our special guest tonight, who doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway, because, you know, that's kind of what we do around here.
Let's see if you hit all of the roles, though, because he's got a lot of hats that he wears.
I know.
Okay, so go.
Okay. So, owner, operator of Catwalk Salon and Spa.
Okay. Yeah.
Who does amazing, beautiful purple hair.
Yes. Host of You Asked For It.
You bet. Oh my gosh.
And what am I missing?
Right here on Jess FM.
Right here on Jess FM.
And Jess TV and on YouTube.
And
but
Twitter
he
and
is
Twitch.
right.
We're on Twitter and Twitch.
We're on Twitch.
We're on Twitch.
And that
Right.
shares us everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he is also the co-founder and vice president of Lethbridge Pride Fest.
I wasn't sure what the title was there, so
Yeah.
I know you're a big deal with the Pride Fest.
Well, thank you. That is a big introduction. I still think a lot of people could be definitely introduced and introduced to you, wonderful women. And you've been on my show.
Yes.
Both of you, quite recently, actually.
Yeah.
March
And
9th.
Yep.
Oh, you remember?
We looked it up.
I remember.
totally remember.
I remember.
Okay. Well, March 9th, you were on my show. You asked for it, and I'm so happy I get to be on your show on this very special
Yeah,
day.
it's kind of flipping the tables.
I love it, and
Time.
yeah, totally. And because of you, I have every full moon I've made moon water.
Oh, yay! Okay, so now what are you doing with your moon water?
To be honest.
Collecting it.
Okay. This is super weird, but I learned how to make moon water very simple. You put your water out on a full moon, and I've been a little bit more aware of the full moons because of you and recent events in life and learning a little bit more about Sapa. So I lay my water out, I get the moon water, and guess what I do?
It sits there.
I feed it to my cats.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, really?
that would probably explain why Cleo was nicer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's nicer.
Aligning a little bit more with the
Either that or she's just so happy that the salon is finally opened and she gets to see people again. But I actually had Cleo on my lap today.
I saw you sent a snap. It's on your story.
Yeah,
It's
so no,
cute.
that I think that's amazing because that gives them like that naturally charged kind of. No, I think that's awesome.
Okay, so yeah, I just put my bowl out. I have this really beautiful bowl, and I put it out for the moon water. But my cats only drink out of water glasses around the house, so I actually put the moon water into the water glass the next morning.
Okay, so fun tip. Apparently, due to evolutionary reasons, cats will not drink water if it is close to their food source.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
the-
it's not near their food.
yeah,
That's
and
funny.
the reason why, and my boo is the same way. She will drink water on the table, and I have to put water in a glass on the table so that she will drink out of it. And I'm like, why don't you drink out of the bowl that I put right there? I don't get it.
It's dangerous.
Well, the reason why is because when cats were like evolutionary and predators, they'll attack their prey and they'll bring it by their food source, but it could contaminate the water.
Okay.
So they tend not
They
to.
actually know that.
Yeah, evolutionarily speaking, it's like encoded in their genes or something.
Wow.
So I've had to move and I've got 4 cats, right? So I've had to move their water dish away from their food, and I noticed that they actually drink it a whole lot faster. So that's probably why your, beautiful spoiled cats will drink out of a cup.
They drink out of cups, not near their food source, which they chose, not me, so I just listened. Do you have any cats?
I have 3.
Okay, so here we are on Sapa. We're giving like a real stigma to Southern Alberta Pagan Association.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do but like cats and paganism, witches. Not that witches is a word, but like, or the thing, but like, you think of like that. That's funny that you're both so into your cats as well.
Well, cats have been associated with witchcraft for a really long time.
Even before witchcraft was accepted, we were known as the cunning folk, which did the healing and everything. And they were the I don't want to label
Helpers?
the good witches, but yeah, the
cats were?
well, no, the cunning folk.
The cunning folk.
And the cunning folk had the cats that would kind of help them out with their witchcraft. I do want to take a moment.
Yeah.
Jamie Hume says she loves Cleo.
Thank you, Jamie.
And Anna, who is an avid dog lover and has the 2 most beautiful puppies.
Okay.
that aren't puppies. They're like fucking 150 pounds and they think they're lap
They're
dogs.
puppies.
Says, why have I never thought about feeding my moon water to my pets?
Well, okay, so I thought I was being silly. So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know what to do with moon water. So I'm a person who does everything in the shower. That means brush, shave, like wash. It's like everything is in the shower. But I was trying to use it as a toner, and I was trying to splash it on my face just to actually connect with it.
Yep.
And it just wasn't. I had a lot of water and only one face, so I was like,
Well, it doesn't have an expiry date on it, so
Okay.
it's good for
This is
quite
true,
some time,
as
right?
long as it's in an airtight container.
And
Well-
you kind of keep it out of the sun.
Yeah.
So because my cats drink only out of glasses of water because they're divas, they're very large glasses. So I have 2 of them in the house, and they take up over almost 2 liters of water.
Oh,
So they get a full fresh moon water after the full moon.
Oh, they're so spoiled. I
Yeah.
love it.
But
I absolutely
it's
love
only
it.
been like 3 months.
Yeah.
So I think they
Yeah.
got moon water 3 times. So
Oh, good.
well, there you go. I came up with that. Feed your pets moon water. Another.
Look at you
thought
being
were
all
gonna make fun of me.
ingenuitive.
I thought you were gonna make fun of me for that. Well,
So there's a reason why we have Levi on our show.
Yes, there is. We
You know,
kinda
and I mean,
digress
yeah,
because
what-
we're good at it.
Like within 10 minutes, we digressed.
I was gonna, because I'm used to being the host, I was about to bring us back into why we're here tonight.
Let me do my job.
But I'm gonna just like sit back and enjoy this. So
One of the hats that you wear is the co-founder and vice president of Lethbridge Pride Fest, and as we all know, June is Pride Month.
yes.
Tell me a little bit about Pride.
Well, I'll tell about Pride in general. So I'm going to talk about why we have Pride. I have covered this on my own show, but we have a different viewing audience. So Pride Fest, so locally, Lethbridge Pride Fest was something we didn't used to have. And 6 of us got together and realized it needed to be more than just a dance. And so we became our own society 12 years ago. So that's where that came from. We can go more into that. But why we have Pride and why it's still important, just very simply that we have a lot of freedoms here in Canada, but I always like to acknowledge there's 70 plus countries where it's still illegal to be in the LGBTQ plus spectrum. So there is still a lot of places where we don't have those freedoms, and so Pride is important because of that reason, just to keep putting a face to it and letting your community know you are here. And now we're in a bigger banner, we're queer, and we're going to talk about all that I know later in our, we got notes. And so Pride started because of the riots at Stonewall, which celebrated its 50 years last year. And it was also 50 years ago last year that Canada decriminalized being gay. So only 50 years ago, you could actually be charged and put in jail for being simply
That's crazy.
homosexual is what they
That's
called it at
that
the time.
recent. Like, and I
Yeah.
mean, I know that I shared those posts, but sometimes I forget that it's that recent.
Yeah, and like again, you were not an assailant; you were just a homosexual. But now we use the banner queer, and you can be jailed. So it also marked the 50 years of the Stonewall riots. They were going into gay bars in New York, and they were pulling the people in the street, arresting them, humiliating them, and throwing them in jail and outing them. And finally they had enough. And I want to make sure, especially with everything going on in the world, that it was actually queer, trans, black, women, and people of color, but especially that actually started the riots and threw the first bricks at the police and said no. And with that, the riots started for the Stonewall riots, and it was the most marginalized community, people of color, trans, and queer, who actually really got those riots going. And we owe a lot to them, and that's why it's really important to celebrate Pride. And it was a protest, and that happened in June in New York, and that's why we celebrate Pride.
And that's why June is our Pride Month, is because of those Stonewall riots.
Yeah, they said enough.
Yeah. And I think that's amazing. And I mean, I'm a strong activist within our community, or at least I try to be.
We all try.
And I've got 2 children, and a lot of our viewers have seen my oldest on our show, and I have got a younger one as well. And I take them to our Pride events, and I actually tell them about the Stonewall riots and why we have Pride. And you know, like I'm gonna take a moment here and just kind of have that proud mommy moment when my 12-year-old 2 years ago, so he's 14 now, but my 12-year-old actually said to his friends, because his one friend, regurgitating information from his parents, is, I'm okay with gays as long as they don't shove it down my throat.
Ooh.
And keeping in mind they're 12, right? So they're just regurgitating what they have. And my 12-year-old looks at him and says, well, when you're shot just for being yourself, you know, like maybe you'll rethink that statement. And I'm like, and that is why I teach you about Stonewall, because it is about just being yourself and being proud to have that identity. And I have really strong hopes for that future generation that's coming up.
I do too.
Yeah. If my son is any indicator.
I think he is.
Yeah, we need to clone him several dozen times.
Okay, but I mean,
they don't have to live with you.
Okay, then I'm all for it.
But we're about empowering everybody. I mean, SAPA is about that. The word. I'm with two strong women right now. You know, and not that all women aren't strong, but it's like, yeah, I don't know, we're about like empowering each other, and that's an important message, especially right now with everything going on.
And providing that space for other voices, right? I mean, no offense, Levi.
Yes.
But white men have had their chance.
Yeah.
So let's let other people have their voice, and let's use our voices to amplify those voices. And I think that goes for not just Pride, but for a lot of things that we're seeing that's happening here in today's society.
Well, I will let you know, as a pretty much, I still do get white privilege male. I am Canadian first. I am a male, but I'm also Turkish. So I come from some Middle Eastern background, and I'm also come from a Muslim background and a Mormon background. So I do have I get a little bit slipped through, but I'm going to admit I do get a lot of white privilege, even though white privilege is a gay man. So I do understand that, and I think that it's important to be empowering to women, to all people of color, anyone who's marginalized, really.
Yeah.
Trans. I mean, I hated when people got made fun of in school for their skin.
Yeah.
Or their, I mean, like bad skin, weight, teeth. I just could never take
Didn't make
that.
sense.
I never liked it. I just, or when people are mean to animals, like I just naturally, there was this person in me that was like, I want to amplify that, and I want to like stick up for that, because I knew what it felt like to be targeted, and I didn't want anyone else to be targeted for something that they couldn't help.
And I think you've done a really amazing job by bringing Pride Fest into Southern Alberta, because it is Southern Alberta. Like, yes, you started Lethbridge Pride Fest, but I mean, 2 years ago, Cardston had its first Pride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we now have Tabor.
No,
Tabor's
3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
The Tabor Equality Alliance, so T. So I mean, it's Southern Alberta, and I think the fact that you took those steps 12 years ago has done a really, I don't think you need a bigger ego, but we're gonna do that.
No, I don't. But honestly, it's I've been doing nonprofit work for 25 years, and people don't really realize that and forget that. When I grew up, it was a way different story, and Becca and I, we go back to junior high and high school, so we actually went to school together, and we always like got along and were friends, and we weren't the cool kids, we weren't like in with Flynn, we were you know, but we were always accepting and kind to each other and kind to others, and we knew what it felt like, I think, to feel a little bit on the outside, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, but I just feel that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
But when I went to school, this is a thing I say to a lot of the GSAs I talk to, and it really freaks them out when they have all these new labels and acceptances with pride and being queer. As I said, when I went to high school, we had fags and dykes.
Yeah.
Those were the words.
Yeah.
That was the verbiage, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was not good. It wasn't cool.
No, it was always derogatory.
Yeah.
Always derogatory.
And it's like, that's so rude.
It was so rude.
So rude, because my best friend in high school was like, okay, the term back then was flamingly gay.
Yeah.
Like, you remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they were flamingly gay, and that was what they would say.
Yeah.
And you know what? I am just going to interject here for a moment. Like, you've used the term queer a number of times.
Yes.
But I want to give a bit of a disclaimer here, because as an ally, I've had the opportunity to speak with a number of queer individuals who identify as the term queer, but a lot of homosexual men who actually hate that term queer. And if you are seeking to be an ally, or you want to support the LGBTQ community, it's really important to be able to use the terminology that a person is comfortable with. So you see people who are in a generation that's a little bit older than our demographics, who are, you know, maybe in the 50s, 60s, when queer was used as a derogatory term. If you refer to the queer community, they actually get really offended. So while we're trying to take that back, you know, I think it is really important to note that it's very important to use the terminology that a person is comfortable with. So you've used it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue using it
Yeah.
throughout the show.
Segment, yeah. Actually, I saw some of the questions, and I do want to touch specifically on that.
Oh, perfect.
So, but I agree. You're going to use it through the segment, so you're just warning people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. So I got to just tell a quick story to that. My grandma Whitbeck, Eleanor Whitbeck, my amazing grandma in Raymond, Alberta, she always cuts out newspaper clippings when I make the newspaper, and she puts them on her fridge. And I go, Grandma, where's the new news story? And this is a few years back, and she goes, it's just awful. I called the Herald and told them they called you a queer.
Oh.
And I was like, Grandma, no, queer is a good word now. It's more in conversation. She's like, I think it's awful. And she actually called the Herald to complain, and she didn't clip the article and put it on her fridge because it showed a picture of me at the Pride and said the word queer, and she was so offended. So
I honestly think that's so wholesome.
That's
so wholesome.
I know, but she supports me, but she didn't support the word queer.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And you know what? Kudos to your grandma for having that voice to be able to call the Herald and say,
this is not okay.
Yeah.
And at the time, she was like 87.
Oh, yeah.
So that was an interesting time because in Raymond, where I'm from, it's a very LDS community. I grew up LDS, and we have a family reunion every 1st of July, and most people from Raymond know there's a big parade. And it was the Pulse nightclub shooting 4 years just the other day, and we were doing a fundraiser for Pulse. I'm not trying to ramble. And in front of my family, in front of my talent show at our family reunion, I performed "If I Were You" by Meghan Trainor in drag to my family, and a lot of not a lot, but family members left the reunion. Yeah, but also I did it. And my grandma, who I was just talking about, Eleanor, she said after I performed, she said, because I was rehearsing because I was performing at Pulse nightclub that night, and she said, in our family, we celebrate diversity.
Oh.
Like, wow.
That's beautiful. So for those
She's probably a pagan.
And I mean, for those who don't know, and I mean, if you live in Lethbridge and you don't know, then you're living under a rock. But you do have a drag persona, Chrissy Cox.
Yes. and Chrissy Cox, yes.
Yeah.
And also, I know we're going to get to it, but I was really a duo with Salem, which really goes with everything we're talking about tonight, the word Salem. And
Happy birthday, Salem.
But Salem's birthday. But we're going to get to that.
So
4 years old.
do want to say
comments.
that, you know, we are going to try and touch base on the comments, you know, at the bottom of the hour and then just before the end of the show, just to kind of try and keep that flow up.
Yeah.
It seems that, you know, a lot of people are loving your story. We've got a comment that says it's a beautiful story. You know, we're already at 20 minutes into the show.
We probably start following the
We get one question.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do a part 2.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, we totally could.
Yeah.
No, I love Thursday nights. This is like this Thursday nights was actually when the most popular TV shows were on.
Oh, really?
Well, Thursday night it was like you got Friends. Remember, like in the 90s.
Supernatural, Smallville, way back in the day.
Thursday night was the night that you put your top rated TV shows on, and then there was TGIF Friday.
Right.
Which hosted
Sabrina the Teenage Witch with Salem.
With Salem, thank you. That was a good segue. You knew it. I was going.
Oh, I knew where you were going.
So actually, I really like the Thursday night time slot. So thanks for having me.
Oh,
this is
we're so happy to
TV.
have you. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks for watching.
Moving right along, we're talking about Pride. We
Yeah.
got the history of Pride. Tell me about the colors of the Pride flag.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so as a gay man, but actually, I'm gonna actually say it. I'm actually, oh my gosh, say it, Levi. You were so crazy. I'm actually pansexual. So I want to just clarify that because I used to have not as many terms to go by. So I always still go back to that gay word, but I am actually pansexual, I've discovered. So a 13-year-old taught me that at school. So there we go.
And, you know, okay, so I know you've used the term wholesome already, but
Yeah.
I mean, that I think it just goes to show, we mentioned generation gap. The fact that a 13-year-old was able to bring that terminology up, I think is just, it's amazing.
Well, and also being able to learn and listen from someone who is much younger and not be stuck in my ways, you know, and be able to morph and change. And I know that kind of is one of our questions coming up. So,
well, I know I recently got schooled by I think they are like 22 or something.
Yeah.
they explain gender fluid.
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
I was reading the descriptions, on Google.
Yeah.
And it wasn't computing in my brain. And it wasn't until we sat down and had a coffee and they explained the things, and I'm like, oh, why can't Google just tell me that?
Right?
Like,
So,
But
and
that's the ability of being willing to learn and listen.
well, and one of the things that I have kind of come into contact with when in my allyship is mentorship. And I mean, a lot of people think of mentorship as somebody who's a little bit older, mentoring a younger individual into how to identify and what, kind of working through the coming out process. But it was a really interesting concept because it was a younger generation. So we're going to use my son's generation, which is iGen or a Zoomer, mentoring a Boomer.
Okay.
Because the terminology is changing very quickly. And with social media now and like all of the technology that we have, the Zoomers or the Boomers are being left behind.
Yeah.
So the Zoomers are starting to take
Mentorship.
the mentor.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it. For an example, my son, who's
Yeah.
14, would
Yeah.
come to you, who's in their not 14-year-olds, and mentor you in the terminology that's being used now in schools.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful because that terminology is changing.
Yeah.
People need to stay up to date with that terminology and know what gender fluid and gender queer and non-binary means because, like we have a lot of boomers or people in the older generation who have paved the way. We have our people who were in the Stonewall riots who laid their lives down to create that society so that people could feel comfortable to be themselves. And that should be honored and that should be respected. But now let's let the Zoomers or the iGen come up and kind of pass the baton.
yeah.
So when you said, or crap. So when you say that a 13-year-old was the one that gave you that terminology, like that's almost exactly the conversation that I had just a few months ago with the community that I'm a part of.
The younger community.
Yeah.
Well, not only did the Stonewall rise up, but the Boomers lived with HIV and AIDS as the gay plague.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of with the COVID right now, it's like you're scared to shake someone's hand or get close with people, and there was that stigma to gay men for a long time that if you were with a gay man or in the grocery store, you were going to get AIDS. Or I met the first guy I kissed because I kissed him, I thought I was going to get AIDS because I thought two men kissing got AIDS. And there's this whole when I walk around the grocery store and people are looking at you weird and you weird, I'm like, oh, they know what it feels like to be a queer person or a gay man in the 80s and 90s. And so I think there's a lot of parallels there. But yeah, learning that because the younger generation doesn't know that. We thought they were telling us it was gay cancer and all that crap. So
Yeah.
it reminds me of the COVID times. It's a weird time.
So getting back to our template.
Back to topic.
As a pansexual man, we were asking you what are the colors and what do they symbolize on the flag? And we've got one here.
And I think just because we did say the word pansexual, I just want to clarify what that means. Pansexual, really quickly, and then let's do this topic.
Yes.
Pansexual, just because we talked about it. Pansexual means I'm attracted and fall in love with the person I fall in love with. To me, it's the eyes, it's the soul, it's the connection, and the gender will work itself out. The genitals come second. The parts come second. It's who I fall in love with, and I've understood I'm able to fall in love with.
Anyone.
Yeah, it's not. I'm just anyone who I fall in love with. It's the eyes. It's the connection. It's so that's how it kind of was explained to me. I fall in love with the person. The other stuff works itself out.
Okay.
So
And
that's a way to
I
look
really
at it.
like that explanation because I've always struggled with pansexuality versus bisexuality.
Thank you.
And bisexuality is very binary.
Yeah.
But recent terminology that I've come across has been bisexuality is I fall in love with two or more genders.
Okay.
Whereas pansexuality falls in love with a person regardless of gender.
Yeah.
So let's say Becca is bisexual. You can fall in love with a man or a non-binary person, but you're not really attracted to females. Right? Whereas you as a pansexual falls in love with the person regardless of what genitals or what wobbly bits.
Wobbly. I look past age, gender, race. It's just if I'm attracted. That's who I'm attracted to. And of course, there's a lot that goes into that. But
so I'm sure that there are plenty of questions regarding that. So drop them in the comments. We will try to get to them if at all possible, given time. But thank you for giving that perspective on what pansexuality means.
Well, I needed to be explained to a 13-year-old. She identified as female at one of the junior highs during my GSA talk.
No, that's amazing. So let's get on to the colors.
Okay. Pride.
Yes.
Look at this. Oh, you were going to do it.
Yeah.
Actually, and guess what? I didn't even bring this flag. You brought this flag, so I'm really proud of you. Thank you.
I got it last year at the
Pride
in the
Fest?
park. Yeah, I was one of the vendors there. So
Yes, you were. You've been a vendor a few times.
5 years. This would have been 6.
Supporting Pride.
I
Thank
know.
you. But we are on Jess FM, so you don't. We have a green screen. You're not seeing the green, okay? Just so you know.
Oh, there is a green.
We're going to talk about these colors.
We have a pink background.
We're going to talk about.
Do you want me to hold this
Yes.
while you talk? Let's hold this while you talk.
Okay. So
And you're gonna.
I
Okay,
did
go ahead.
research too. So.
Okay. Becca
Becca.
Becca did research, and I have my research. So we're going to compare our notes on what the pride flag means, and so we're going to go through the pride colors.
Yes.
Okay. So why the rainbow? Well, I always thought just in my head a rainbow was a thing of harmony and bringing all colors together, all people together. It was just a beautiful harmony. That's how I really do see the pride flag or the rainbow.
Now, from an artistic perspective, the rainbow colors all come from white, which
Okay.
is the purest light.
Okay.
So when it gets shot through a prism, you get the rainbow.
It's so true, and I love a
So-
prism given a rainbow. Like, who doesn't love that through a window? I think we all do.
No one.
Yeah, we all do. We all love a rainbow after the rain. We all love a prism.
Yes.
And also, Sapa, you have also, we've broken those stigmas for people of paganism and stuff. So it's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. Here we go.
Yes.
I'm going to say what I know
Okay.
these colors to be.
Okay.
And I want you to know, this is a controversial one. Lethbridge Pride actually had the police, I'm going to get controversial here. We had the Lethbridge police no longer wear Mardi Gras beads at Lethbridge Pride Fest. It wasn't enough to wear multicolored beads, they had to wear the rainbow.
Oh.
But not only did they have to wear the rainbow, they had to know what the colors meant.
Oh.
Yeah. So we actually...
I didn't know that.
And they did, and they learned.
Good for
so,
them.
I want you to say, I know that was really controversial, especially with the world right now, but I thought it was an interesting fact because that's when I learned what the colors meant. Because I just thought about the rainbow harmony, and we're asking the Lethbridge police to be able to recite what each color means on the rainbow, and I didn't know.
Oh dear.
And they had to learn it. We had to teach them, so that's when I learned. Okay, so let's go together.
Okay.
So I'm going to go say red.
Life.
Red, life. So
Life.
red means life. So I think it's because of blood,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
We're making this up.
Yeah.
Well, not quite.
No.
The blood part, yes. Okay, orange, healing. Okay, green.
Green. I have yellow next.
Oh, sorry, I do too. Yellow,
There we go. Sunlight.
sun. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
green.
green. Nature.
Nature. Okay. Blue,
Blue.
harmony.
I have serenity. Which is
Okay, so blue, she has harmony. I have serenity. Or sorry, you have
reversed.
serenity.
Yes.
Okay, violet.
Violet is spirit.
Spirits as well.
Yes.
Okay, because you do get different sources on these materials. This is my gay book with poison ivy on it. This is where I keep my work. Okay, pink.
Pink is sex.
So pink
Pretty
is
well.
not in the flag today, but
But it
pink.
used to be.
So you're gonna tell us
The
about
original,
that.
yep.
So pink in the flag would actually be sex and sexuality.
Yes.
But why is it not in our rainbow?
Well, there's
So
actually
what-
another color that we should talk about first because they both got discontinued for the same reason.
Was it indigo?
Turquoise.
Turquoise.
Turquoise was taken.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. Turquoise stood for magic and art.
Oh.
Wow.
Right? And the reason they were taken out of the original 1978 Pride flag is because at the time, magenta and turquoise ink were hella expensive.
Oh.
So you go with what you can afford, right?
Yeah.
So we all went down to the 6, and it's been working.
So, and that's what we have been using traditionally for the past, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
But
But these are the true prism colors.
yeah.
Yes.
The turquoise isn't in there.
Yeah. It's really faint and it's very small.
Okay.
If you look at True Prism.
Oh, okay.
But we know that magic is not small and faint.
Yeah.
But
And neither is pink sexuality. That is not.
so while we have, this has been our traditional flag, I kind of want to touch base a little bit on the progressive flag
You bet.
that we have seen. I have seen this year. We may have seen it earlier. But what is the progressive flag? And tell me the symbology behind that.
Well, thank you for that awesome segue, because I do want to talk about the progressive flag, and it is not new, but it has been a more modern take on, because we are all learning and we are all listening and we are being more inclusive, more interested in, just accepting and learning and society and moving forward. So the progressive pride flag, and I really have to say, if you're driving down Mayor McGrath, Lethbridge Pride Fest took out a billboard because we can't gather. We wanted to get a message to the city. So in front of Pizza 73, please take a look at our message, and our what we have is we put the progressive flag up on the billboard, and it went up yesterday. So
And I actually have to say, I actually saw that this morning on my way to work, because I drive down Mayor McGrath on my way to work, and I'm like, hey, that looks familiar. What is that?
Right?
And then, because, it's the morning and I'm driving to work and I haven't had my coffee yet, because,
And that line like
but I
really,
did-
really long too.
yeah. But I did notice the progressive flag. So tell me more about that.
Okay, so the progressive flag is up on Mayor McGrath. I want you to all check it out and just take a moment to think. And this year, more than ever, Lethbridge Pride Fest needed to really just adopt and really make that the new flag. So we have a special message on it, and it's pride, solidarity, and change. And these are things that we're all talking about right now, because we are in solidarity, and we are willing to change and to learn and share our pride. Okay, so in the flag, it actually, the progressive flag uses black, brown, light blue, and pink, and white to symbolize marginalized communities. So just to go above what we talked about, what the other 6 colors mean, we have the black, brown, blue and pink and white to include people of color, and also the trans community right in the flag. So it's just really important message, and not just now, but always, to just always like support and uplift.
And okay, so I'm going to interrupt you.
You please.
And I've noticed, so I watch my Facebook memories a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
So in the past few days, the transgender crosswalk, so the blue, the pink, the white, has been popping up in my feed a lot lately. And I do want to say that, the rainbow crosswalk, that's not necessarily new. A lot of countries and a lot of cities across Canada have done.
Are you going where I think you're going?
I think I might be. So a lot of people have done pride crosswalks, right? In the 6 colors that we had talked about.
Yes.
But Lethbridge Pride Fest was the first organization in the world to advocate for a transgender pride crosswalk.
Yeah.
So, and I remember 2 years ago,
3
years ago, a lot of people are like, oh, well, a lot of countries have done pride crosswalks. Yes, they have.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
It was the fact that we wanted to not only acknowledge gay, bisexual, and lesbian communities and that population,
Queer.
but we wanted to take a step back and realize that, and I use the word we a lot, but I mean, honestly, it's you.
but we're a community, and so
Yeah.
you can. I want you to feel proud about that.
So Lethbridge Pride Fest got the first transgender crosswalk.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about that, and I'm going off script a little bit,
yeah.
but
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So what's really exciting, and I really got to give a big shout out to Linda McFalls, because this was her specific work again. Powerful, awesome woman, and we love you, and thank you so much. So she was really kind of the paperwork force and the person to do this. So, but
Paperwork's important.
it's hard. It's not my.
And we
skill
love
set.
all those people who do our paperwork.
Right, we actually talked about that. Yeah. So I want to just quickly say, we actually, Lethbridge Pride Fest is the first ever in the world permanent transgender crosswalk.
Okay.
So Lethbridge will have the first ever permanent approved crosswalk in the world. But right now they're redoing 3rd Avenue, so it's going to be inlaid into the pavement. So it's not permanent now, but it was past to be. So it's going to be inlaid pink, white, and blue at the corner in front of Casa. So it's actually, it's not Pita Pit because those ones are going to be raised. So they're putting it back to Foster's and Catwalk.
Okay.
And so that'll be the rainbow, because that was our first rainbow crosswalk.
Yes.
And then where Scotiabank to Casa is,
Right.
that will be the transgender crosswalk. So Pride Fest, we applied to be in the Guinness Book World Records to be the first ever world transgender crosswalk, but we couldn't get it because it can never be beat. So the point of Guinness World Records is you can beat them, but because we're the first, no one can ever beat us.
Right.
Dang.
Lethbridge, Alberta.
Right?
It's for us.
Okay, so the
But it's actually
progressive
great.
and the progressive flag. So going back on script,
Yeah.
it touches on all of the 6 that we touched on,
Yeah.
excluding pink and turquoise because it was removed due to costs, and then it includes the pink, blue, and white but to acknowledge the transgender individuals, and then the black and the brown to acknowledge the BIPOC community.
Yes.
So I mean,
I never heard it called BIPOC. BIPOC, I've heard.
Black, Indigenous,
People of color.
people of color.
I like that. I just never heard it called BIPOC. I was just saying BIPOC.
Not gonna lie, I googled how to pronounce that before I came on air.
Well, good for you, because I actually really like BIPOC, and Lethbridge Pride Fest has made a big effort because in Lethbridge, Alberta, you might not know where we are, but we have a large Indigenous community, and I don't feel like they're always represented. And we've made a lot of strides and efforts over the last 6 years, at least. Like, not that it wasn't always, but I know, again, in our questions,
Which we probably aren't gonna get to.
But yeah, so it is very important, and so I'm gonna let you in on a secret.
We like secrets.
Oh.
But a Pride Fest might kick my ass.
Oh.
But I want to tell you anyway.
Okay, but can I interject for just a
Yeah,
moment?
yeah.
Okay, so we're supposed to touch on comments at the bottom of the
Yes,
hour,
please.
and it's already 8:40. So I do want to say we had one of our individuals, Carrie Cowie, say thank you for sharing that. That's a good explanation, where she's talking about the pansexuality
thank you.
definition.
Yeah, just to understand that one, because parents get weirded out when their kid says that.
Yeah, she also said that she saw the Pride Fest billboard on Mary McGrath, and it was very
yay.
cool.
Thank you.
And
I
then
really like that.
Carrie says, "Yay, Linda."
Yes, lovely.
Linda says, "Hey, beautiful people."
Did
And
Linda watch that?
she is,
now.
yeah. And I mean, Linda's been a big part of our community as
Yes.
well. So not only just Pride Fest, but
Well, isn't her name on Instagram Sea Witch?
yeah, See Witch
Sea Witch
Creation.
Creation.
She
Yeah.
does paintings. So if
She's
you're ever
local.
looking for paintings, local artists.
Especially skates.
I like her ice
Yeah,
skates.
beautiful.
Well, there, you're getting a shout out on your Instagram. Look up Sea Witch Creations on Instagram. That's Linda McFalls, a great leader in the Lethbridge Pride
And
community.
Sea Witch is like the Ursula SEA Witch Creations.ca. And then Anna says, "My heart is so full right now. Thank you so much for talking about Pride." And Anna, as you might not be aware, she's a huge part of our SAPA community.
Okay.
But she also supports the Pride community as well.
Well, I think we have a lot in common.
Yeah, so Linda confirms that she is watching now. So hi, Linda. So I think I've hit most of our comments here. I see that my friend Chantel and Kimberly are watching. Darylyn, Austin was tuning in at the
Austin
beginning of the
Francis
show.
guy?
Yeah.
He's at work still.
Oh, okay.
So he works till 9, so maybe he's going to catch the end of our show.
He did tune in very quickly.
Okay.
He did tune in, so I don't know if he's still with us.
Austin Francis Guy Walsh, he has always claimed to just be a witch. And me and him had some really weird powers together. There's something magical about the two of us, and we're going to get to all that.
There is something magical about Austin.
There
Yes.
is.
Like, I mean, there's just something magical about
But
Austin.
there
I mean,
was-
even his drag persona, who
Yes.
Salem.
we've mentioned earlier in the show, is 4 years old today.
Yeah.
Salem is it's magical. And Austin, I love you. If you're still watching, I miss you. Let me know if you're, willing to kind of make some sort of drag like. My children are in Leduc, which is close by.
Oh,
so
true.
I mean, if you wanna do things, I know my daughter would love to see you. So I love you and I miss you.
We really miss you. So I do want to just give this secret about Lethbridge Pride Fest this year, and because Linda is watching, she'll really dig this. So Linda, this is crazy, and everyone. So we have actually bought a new flag to raise at City Hall this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when is the flag raising?
Monday.
Okay,
We're
so
going to go through all the events coming up. So
Yeah.
Monday is the Lethbridge Pride Fest flag raising, which we cannot do in person, which is one of my favorite events, showing our city is a supportive community and raising that flag. But we've gone with the progressive flag.
Oh,
So we're including everyone in this, even more so, and more important as a symbolism for this year. But here's the problem. It hasn't arrived.
oh no!
It's Thursday. We paid $90 shipping like weeks ago, and it's still not here. It's said to get here Monday. Monday's the flag raising. So, drama.
Okay, so you know what? I think that's an amazing segue.
Thank you.
Let's talk about what Pride Fest is doing right
Okay.
now.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And do it quickly because there's
Yes.
other questions I want to
Okay,
get
okay.
to.
Okay, we're going to try it.
It's like 2 minutes.
You know, it's really important we do this because, okay, we've already done some things. We've got the college and university have already raised their pride flags. We had our drag story time at the library on June 16th. It's still online. You can watch it.
Okay,
Yep.
who did that?
Drag story reading.
Yeah,
Francesca Dynamite's. Sally.
Beautiful.
Yes. We love
beautiful drag queen.
mine and Austin's drag daughter.
Oh, is it?
I know we look
Oh,
too young to have
really?
a daughter. That age.
And I mean, I adore Francesca.
Oh, yeah.
I love her to bits.
Her
So
energy.
right?
Yeah.
So Francesca did story time, and who was she with?
She was also with Sally Adams and
Kilowatt.
Kilowatt, our drag monarch, not
Right.
king or queen of monarch.
No, a drag
So-
monarch, which I think is amazing because it's bringing in that non-binary aspect. But what I love about Killa is they bring in science.
Science and politics.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that is still viewable on Facebook. That was the drag story time through the Lethbridge Public Library.
That was the Lethbridge Public Library, but really importantly, things that you can still do because we can't do the normal gatherings. So this Sunday, I want you to come join us at the Galt Museum, 11 till 4. We're putting up the Pride letters, which were done by university students, not students, from the Art Collective. Sorry, that cough on air with COVID. So,
It's allergies.
That's why it's
She's
allergies.
been coughing the entire night.
okay.
Have you not noticed?
Oh my God.
So Sunday there
Sunday.
is a
Please come to the Galt Museum. Outside, we're having the Pride flag, the Pride letters out. We're encouraging you to bring your cohort, bring your signs of protest, bring your grad outfit, just bring your friends, bring your family. And we have 2 professional photographers, expressions photography.
We need to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sunday.
Like-
you have
Sunday 11 to 5.
11 to 4.
11 to 4.
But we'll probably go till
Sunday at Galt Museum,
yeah.
where that big wheel is.
That big metal wheel.
So, and you're gonna have 2 professional photographers.
Yeah, taking your photo, get a professional photo. It'll be great for your cover photo, your Instagram, just to memorialize this weird COVID time. But
So that's the Lethbridge pop-up photo shoot.
Yes.
And we're going to ask you to please social distance, wear a mask if you're going to be in groups. We're going to be playing music to keep the vibe up, and then post for your pictures. And yeah, and I get to at least see you guys there.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
What else do you have going?
Okay, the next day we have the flag raising.
The next day being Monday.
Monday, we can't encourage you to come. It's from 6 till 7, and and then I'll be coming back here and doing the Jess FM radio show live to talk about what happened. But you'll be able to watch us online and see our amazing speakers and raise hopefully that progressive flag if it gets here on Monday. If not, we'll go with our old one. But that is the flag raising. We have to do it virtually, drive by, honk, but we can't encourage crowds right now. It's frustrating. June 23rd, we have a queer author at the library, 6:30 till 7:30, 8:30 till 10. So 2 events. You can see us all this on Lethbridge Pride Fest on Instagram and Facebook. June 26th, we are having our Pride Awards.
Oh.
So I know, but
I was gonna ask. Okay, so I got my hair done. It's beautiful.
the hair is beautiful.
Yes,
But
I
I-
a talented stylist.
But I was gonna ask. So, sorry, I was reading.
Yeah.
Finish
Okay.
what you were gonna say.
Well, we are doing the Pride Awards online, but I want you to know we will publicly, when we can have a ceremony next year, acknowledge this year's winner because the work you've done needs to be acknowledged. And yeah,
Are you still taking nominations? Because I see on your Facebook, on Lethbridge Pride Fest Facebook page, that they are nominations were closed as of June 15th. We are on June 18th. Are you still accepting nominations?
I'm gonna say send them in because
Okay.
I feel like we didn't get enough nominations. So I'm gonna say still send in your nominations. Say I know I'm late, but I think this person needs to be acknowledged. And I won the Legacy Award last year.
Yes,
I feel
you did.
like that. It's just like
Yeah.
it blows my mind. But
So
it's
a ton
cool.
of events that are still happening for Pride Fest, and I do want to
nominate people you think are important in the queer community to Lethbridge Pride Fest. I would still send it in if you haven't. So if you're a new listener, please send it in to Lethbridge Pride Fest who you think deserves a Pride Award.
Going into the comments, I see that Linda McFalls is hosting a Senior Pride virtual party tomorrow evening. So that would be Friday evening, June 19th at 8 p.m.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic.
Address
Priority's
will
gonna be there.
be given, and Kilowatt and Tutti
Aw.
will be there. And then there is a Dancing to Rabbit that
Yes.
Linda also comments, and that was
We're going to talk about that. It is in our notes. It is
Yes.
for Saturday night.
what that means, it's actually Friday night.
But also tell everyone involved, SAT-T.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the Tabor Equality Alliance. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Is a virtual dance party with DJ Rabbit, which is my favorite DJ.
There you go.
So find that on Facebook. It is the...
It's put on through SAG-T
Yeah,
and
thank
Lethbridge
you.
Pride Fest.
Yeah.
So it is a group effort, and so yes, we can't get together and do our dance, but you can listen to JJ Rabbit's music and get dressed up with your friends and have your own dance party.
Yeah.
I know. I just want to.
And see, like, I mean, one of the... so my birthday, and we're going to get to that
Yeah.
in just a couple
Oh
minutes.
my gosh, you had 10 minutes.
But yeah, right. I've been watching the time. My birthday is on Saturday, and one of my I don't want to say issues, okay, but one of my in the past few years, it's been really hard to hold a birthday party because it's usually on the same day as the Pride dance.
Yeah.
So like my birthday is on Saturday, and I usually go to the Pride dance instead of actually having a birthday party. So it's really kind of nice to be able to do a virtual dance party in my living room.
Yeah.
Check that out on Facebook. I'm
Yeah.
really excited for that. And
Yeah.
DJ Rabbit is amazing.
Yeah.
I love
So
DJ Rabbit.
we are doing our best to do this, but I just think if COVID ends in December, Pride Fest dance in December is just going to have to be a lot bigger.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, just
Yes.
get us all together because
Give
we're
me
going to be
an excuse
ready.
to wear that blue dress.
Right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You know the one I made.
Yeah.
I don't know it, but I want to see it.
You saw it.
Oh. Oh.
Was he drunk?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay.
Was I?
Yes.
We've pretty much gone through a lot of our topics
Randomly. We're
so,
good at that digression.
you want to? I was gonna say, yeah, Lethbridge Pride Fest has changed a lot over the years, and I think just identifying as a queer person, not just a gay person, and really making it all about bringing the rainbow together,
Yeah.
everyone together, everyone. So and I've been out to the Pagan Fest, and so just it was like one big festival for all of us.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a lot of things that we did want to talk on. We wanted to ask you about, your earliest memories, 12 years ago when you started Pride Fest and how that's changed.
Yeah.
But, being conscious of the time, we do have 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll
so,
have to have you back. That's
Yeah.
just all we're gonna
Yeah.
have
We
to
do. You
Yeah.
actually really had some great questions and some stuff to all learn about. I think our audience is enjoying this show. We have lots of comments. We are going to switch gears and we are going to do a little bit of. Well, I'll just shut up and let you do the show.
no, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it, because,
Before we get to that,
Can I toast?
Yeah, you
no,
can totally
no,
toast.
Yeah,
no.
toast.
We're gonna toast. We're not gonna let Becca speak, but we're gonna toast Austin Walsh.
Oh my gosh.
It is his birthday tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
And it is Salem's 4th birthday tonight. Like Austin was your co-host you asked for it
You
for a
bet.
number of years.
Yes.
And he's an amazing supporter of the Pagan Association. He's an amazing supporter of Pride Fest. So I do want to toast to Austin.
Yes.
I don't have one, but I'm going to do this. Cheers. Cheers.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Austin.
And happy birthday, Salem.
Yes.
So after this, I'm actually FaceTiming Austin because we need to have a talk. We need to connect after this show. And so he's working till 9, but I hope he's going to watch this. So we just wanted to do something special for his birthday today. So we're going to do a little bit of reading about what it's like to be born on June 18th. And we're going to do a little spotlight just on Austin.
Yes.
So I got to do a disclaimer, and I did put it on my story today. But Austin, this is going to be so bad. I'm such a typical male in a lot of ways. I'm still that guy who forgets birthdays and anniversaries.
Thankfully, there's Facebook that reminds you now.
Okay, but you know what?
But
Honest,
this-
I sat in his chair at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, well, not because yesterday I saw his client gave him a bottle of wine for his birthday. So
That was a pretty bottle.
it was pretty. See, we all see this shit.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. So Austin and I were dating, and he was driving down from Calgary, and we were getting to know each other, and he's sitting in the car, and we're like romanticizing each other, and he goes, "This is meant to be," and I go, "Well, yeah, why? Tell me about it." And he goes, "Look at your address, 618." And I was like, "Yeah, 618 3rd Avenue South, Catwalk Salon Spa." He goes, "It's my birthday, June 18th, 618. So I actually am reminded of Austin's birthday every day. I say my address and skip the dishes when I walk home. It's big letters. So 618, I did a little video about it today on Facebook. So it's like really good because it's the one birthday I will never forget is Austin's birthday. So I'm happy to do the show on his birthday, and I'm happy what we're about to do.
Yes.
So Rebecca is going to just give us a little bit of rundown of what it means to be born on June 18th. So anyone else celebrating your birthday, this does apply to you.
Yeah, so this is from my big book of What Your Birthday Reveals to You. And for people born on June 18th, makes them a Gemini. The paradoxal personality of the person born on this day runs the gamut from the profoundly serious to the ridiculously lighthearted.
Yep, that's awesome.
Nevertheless, your unique mixture of insight and humor attracts friends and helps you get along with all kinds of people. I know that's true.
That's true too, Austin.
You possess an extremely perceptive mentality with intuitive capabilities bordering on the psychic.
I would agree with that as well.
At times you seem intriguingly mysterious and chameleon-like. Yet on other occasions you appear to be totally open and relaxed. You are selfless and courageous with a tremendous capacity for tolerance and spiritual achievement. Does it still sound
It
like
still sounds like Austin.
Active, impatient, and restless individuals with birthdays on June 18th are indefatigable fighters for the rights of others. Still in the ballpark?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. A clever, witty, and dramatic speaker, you have few equals in argument and debate and absolutely refuse to tolerate injustice and intolerance.
Yeah, don't get in a fight with or argument with Austin.
You lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, all this is so true because he can act like so intense, but he can be like so relaxed. He could be like serious and like this is very Austin.
Despite your sincerity, intelligence, and charisma, however, your incisive wit and sharp tongue can get you into big trouble. Nevertheless, when you see things that you believe to be wrong, you're not afraid to stand up and be counted among the opposition. You're willing to sacrifice everything you have in defense of those who cannot defend themselves, no matter how unpopular the cause.
This was a really great reason why we made such a great team, and he jumped right in with Lethbridge Pride Fest. He is just such a great advocate and ally and part of this community. Yeah, so this is super great. Okay.
Awesome. We're almost done. It's a big book.
This is good. This is good.
You are very devoted to those you love. However, you are so idealistic that if your significant other does not live up to your expectations, you may drop him or her like a hot potato and start looking around for someone who fits your image as the ideal partner.
That wasn't me.
No.
No. we met those ideals is all I mean. But he wouldn't tolerate someone who didn't live up to those ideals.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
they also list famous people born on this day.
I want to take over this one because
Okay.
I love gossip, I love celebrities, I love all that news. So I just want to do Austin. I got some very interesting birthday celebrities here. I like delisted and I like the hot slut of the day. That's what they call birthday sluts, and they always list the birthday sluts. And anyway, so I thought there was a really interesting one here, and I'm going to save it for last. But your birthday twins are Paul McCartney, Roger Ebert, Isabella Rossellini, Blake Shelton, Scooter Braun. And the only reason I know Scooter Braun is because he took Taylor Swift's what do they call them, hard copies, or like when your original vocals?
Yeah.
Like, not, it's your catalog. It's
Okay.
your, but anyway, Scooter Braun, Justin Bieber's bestie. Okay, those weren't. But here is the one that is going to speak to you, Austin. And I don't know if you knew this, but you're absolutely going to love it. Your birthday twin is the Grand Duchess Anastasia.
And that's like
What?
the Anastasia, right?
The Anastasia.
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So Austin really loves the Anastasia cartoon, and I actually don't know if he realized that he shared a birthday with Anastasia.
I love the cartoon too.
Isn't that
I mean,
great?
that is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
actually, in honor of that, I think I'm going to watch Anastasia tonight.
Oh.
Oh, we never got to queer films. We had so
Right?
many topics.
We skipped over a lot because Levi is so very interesting to talk to, and he's a lot of knowledge regarding not only the history about Pride, but the history about Lethbridge Pride Fest.
We'll definitely
So
have to have a part 2.
We'll do.
I do think so.
Yeah.
So we're getting near the end of our show. We haven't even hit announcements yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to
Oh,
thank
shit.
Levi for coming on to our show, for sharing all of the information that you have shared
Oh,
with
thanks.
that, for having that conversation about pansexuality versus bisexuality. Like, I mean, it has been a really, really amazing show. So I do thank you.
I did do a little research for you, and I want to acknowledge it. Maybe we can't read all this. I don't know because we're running out of time. But I do want to say happy birthday on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yay.
20th. So it is your birthday on the 20th. So just in 2 more days. So happy early
Almost
birthday.
birthday twins with Austin.
I know, I love it. So I did a little quick research for you for your birthday twins. I just want to say it. You got Nicole Kidman, and I think that's a very special one because we talked on the show about favorite movies, and one of them was Practical Magic. And so when I saw
Yes.
Nicole Kidman as one of your birthday twins, I just had to acknowledge that. Salvador Rossellini, Brian Wilson, Lionel Richie, Earl Flynn, John Goodman, and Sage the Gemini. Sage the Gemini. He is a popular American rapper.
Oh.
Sage Gemini, but Sage and Gemini. Great words for your show.
Wonderful.
But
Yeah.
mostly
Wonderful.
Nicole Kidman, you practical magic woman.
Right? We're going to touch on announcements very quickly.
there we
We
go.
have one of our partners, Breathe and Heathen, who is having a book launch this Saturday at Plum.
Yes.
So that's super exciting. He has been doing a lot of work with the Owned Breathing workshop from last summer, and he actually is publishing a book. So I'm super excited for that, except not really because I'll be at my own birthday party, but I'll get a book later.
No, you got to make an appearance.
I'll probably make an appearance
There
because
we
that's
go.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I have the skill of being at 2 places at once.
Yeah.
So
And you
if
got that new great hair.
Yes.
right,
So hang on. This is a actual book launch. He wrote the book. It's
he wrote the book, he published the book, and it will be a book launch at Plum
Wow.
on Saturday night from 7 to 8 p.m.
We love Plum. It's just downstairs from us. It's
Yeah.
usually where I go for a drink after the show.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We also have Cauldron Claps, so we weren't able to touch on it tonight. But if you have any nominations, please let us know either in the comments, email, or Facebook message.
Yeah.
You have the rest of the announcements.
Sure
Go
do.
for it.
Tomorrow night, from 6 until 8, so right before the Virtual Pride Dance, we have our Sip and Spell. And you do need to RSVP or click going on the event on the SAPA page so you can get the codes, and those will be sent out about an hour before we kick it off. Should be great fun. And then that was pretty much it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we got them all in.
Okay.
See, I was able to do that without a piece of paper.
I got to go back to this book launch.
Okay,
Okay.
but okay, go.
Okay. Book launch is Saturday night. But does this author have 2 different names? Is that a secret?
Okay, so
I feel like I know the author.
You do know the author,
Right.
And
But
and
then the
his-
name he goes under for we don't have to out the author. But what is his writing name? I didn't know this.
His writing name is Breathe and Heathen, and the reason
Breathe and
why
Heathen.
is because he focuses a lot on how breath can help you either with like asthmatic symptoms or just even anxiety.
Okay.
And
That's so true.
yeah, and Heathen is his path. So heathenry focuses a lot on the Norse tradition, so the northern Scandinavian Thor, Loki, Odin. So he is very much he identifies as a heathen. So he combined both of his passions and made a pseudonym. So his Facebook name is Breathe and Heathen. You can find him on Facebook under that name. He does have a page where you can find all of the information that you need to about this book launch on Saturday from 7 to 10. So, and I mean, what I just, the meditation, the mindfulness, the breathing piece.
Yeah.
I mean, as a counselor in training, as somebody who has anxiety, like it's helped me through so much. So I'm actually really, really excited for this book launch. So please find that on Facebook.
Well, I just want to say, if you want to lose your breath, I hope that our Breathing Heathen puts his real photo in the cover of that book. Because you might just lose your breath. A very handsome man writing that book and very knowledgeable. So I think that is great. I didn't realize he had a writing name. So that's great at Plum on Saturday night.
Wonderful. Okay. So thank you all for tuning in. We have Becca and Liv as part of the Southern Alberta Pagan Association, accompanied with Levi Cox from the Pride Fest as our special guest to talk about Pride Month. We might bring him back because we didn't even touch on a fraction of what we wanted to.
We barely scratched the surface.
And I actually liked all your questions, so I'd love to come back.
So yes, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week on Sapa Speaks.
Yeah, let's do that.